Hey guys, welcome to my vegan kitchen. I'm Michelle. Today, let's make some dessert. Not just any dessert. This dessert will be healthy and high in protein. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, tap on that bell, and let's cook. So guess what? We're gonna make some brownies. These brownies are gonna be so good. I've had them so many times, and they're high in protein. So let me grab the ingredients that I need, get things started by preheating my oven. I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees and get that going while I grab the other ingredients. All right, so I've gathered all my ingredients. You're gonna need a food processor. Everything is gonna go into that food processor. That's your one step. So grab your food processor, and the base of these brownies are chickpeas. So I have my chickpeas right here. Now, every time I do a video with chickpeas, everyone asks me in the comments for me to do a video of how I make my chickpeas, how I prepare, I should say, my chickpeas. That video will be coming, but in short explanation, I buy dried chickpeas. So I buy dried chickpeas at the store, soak them overnight in plain water, and then the next day I cook them in salted water for as long as I prefer to get them soft. So I will have a video coming, but then this is what I do. I place them in mason jars while they're hot, because I want to make sure that the mason jar seals tight, because these will last for weeks in the refrigerator, 2 to 3 weeks. Once you open them though, you have to use them within a couple of days, like 3 or 4 days or so. So here we go, rich in protein and fiber. So let's get these strained and get them into our food processor bowl here. We're gonna use about 15 ounces of chickpeas. So if you notice, I'm using like 1 can, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of this one, because and I said can, I meant jar. 1 jar has about 12 ounces, and we're trying to get about 15 ounces here. But don't worry guys, I will have all of the recipe, the ingredients and everything, I'll have them in the description box, okay? I am not the best baker, but this is such an easy recipe that I love doing it. I prefer to cook rather than bake, so bear with me. All right, we got our chickpeas in here. The next thing I'm gonna place in here is our peanut butter. Now you can use whatever type of nut butter you prefer. You could use almond butter, any type of butter. I just love the flavor of peanut butter, especially in brownies. So let me measure this out and get it right in the bin. I'm just gonna use a spatula to get out all of my peanut butter. You could even use tahini. You know, tahini is really a good nut butter. It's rich in calcium also, so it's a good one to add instead of peanut butter. All right, let's get that in there. If you guys notice, I'm still using my missing handle little measuring cup that I'm never gonna give up. Peanut butter is so good. I'm also gonna do some maple syrup as my sweetener. Your other options are agave. You can do that also, or date syrup. Date syrup would work also. Let's scoop that out. I wanna make sure I get everything in here. Now, if maple syrup is not sweet enough for you, you could still add like some coconut sugar or any sugar that you choose. Again, I'll have the recipe in the description box with the optional choices if you want to choose them. We're now going to add some cocoa powder, or I'm just going to use cacao powder. I prefer cacao powder because it's so rich in iron and it's just full of nutrients. So we're going to add some of that right into the bowl. I'm gonna also add some baking powder. So let me just get a little bit of that in there. And I'm gonna add some vanilla. And don't laugh, my vanilla top broke and I can't wait for this bottle to be finished, so I could just be finished with this vanilla. I add a little extra. I know it says half a teaspoon, but I love the taste of vanilla. So we're just gonna add a little bit of extra, and we leave that right over here on the side. Don't forget to also add some salt. The salt is gonna help to bring out the flavor of the cocoa so it's not too bitter. And I have one other ingredient, and this is optional. You don't have to, especially if there's going to be a little bit of kiddos around. You might not want to add this, but I find this is a special treat for me. So this is what I add to my ingredients to give it that extra kick. I'm going to add a little bit of instant coffee, and this is my favorite coffee actually. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of instant coffee right to the mix. All right, let's put our base on, put the top on, and let's get this blended. We're gonna blend this for as long as it takes to get it smooth. So we're gonna start for a minute and then let's see what happens. Now after a minute, this is optional, but I like to add some really good flavor olive oil right to the batter. This is gonna give it nice texture and smoothness and make it so just creamy. So just a little bit, maybe about a tablespoon or two. Again, I'll leave it in the recipe description as an option. All right, guys, I gave it about 3 minutes because I really wanted to make sure that the batter was super smooth. We don't want any pieces of chickpeas left in here, and I'm trying to get that blade out. So let's grab that and let's clean that up. Let's get everything that we can off. Let's see what this feels like. Look at that. This is what it looks like, guys. So as you can see, it's nice and creamy. There's no chickpea pieces in there. It is smooth and thick, and that's the texture that we want it to be. So now I'm just gonna use some dark chocolate chips. You could use any chocolate chips that you want. You could use even milk chocolate with this. I love the taste of dark chocolate, so I don't mind that it has that nice bitter bite. I like that flavor. So I'm just gonna add in my chocolate chip right now, and I'm gonna fold it in. So maybe about a 1/4 cup of my chocolate chip pieces, and I'm just gonna fold it in right now. And like I said, in the description of the recipe, I will have where you have option. You can add more sugar if you want. You can kind of customize it. I'm still trying to keep it on the so-called healthy side. So I am not adding any sugar besides the maple syrup to mine or the chocolate chips. But these chocolate chips have about 4 grams of sugar a serving, so I'm not worried. I'm gonna add a little bit more because I really want to get it really chocolatey. All right, so once I do that, I'm gonna get my baking container. This is an 8 by 8. I'm gonna line this with a little bit of parchment paper. So give me a second, let me grab that and add that in before we add our batter. So all I did was cut my parchment paper to fit my container. And then I'm gonna scoop my ingredients, which is thick and rich, into my pan. We're gonna spread that out. Oops. Stay still for me. Let's get it all in there, now we can spread it all out. And that just allows it, when it bakes, to come out easier out of the pan. Even though this is a non-stick, I still like to have that parchment paper on the bottom so I could just kind of flip it out. So now that we have all of our batter in our pan, I'm gonna dress it up with some more chocolate chips. Just a little bit on top. A couple more. Can't ever have too much chocolate, right? And this is dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has a lot of magnesium, so we're gonna just call it a health food. All right, and then I'm gonna I have a little bit of walnuts here, and you don't have to add nuts. I know a lot of people feel weird about adding nuts to their brownies, but I just think it gives it a nice little crunch. You know, so it's not too like soft. It's just it's one dimensional with just one texture. I like when it has a couple of textures. And I even like to add some granola. I have this homemade granola, and I just like that it's kind of salty, kind of sweet. So I'm gonna add that on top also. Again, this is all optional. You don't have to do that. The brownies by themselves is way good. All right, so now that we have all that on our brownies, our batter, I'm gonna pop this in the oven, like I said, at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, going in. It's been 25 minutes, so let's get this out of the oven. Now, allow this to completely cool before we cut it. But this is what our baby looks like right now. Beautiful. So it's cooled down a little bit. I probably should have made this cool a little bit more, but I really got to get into this. So come in close. I'm using just a little bit of my butter knife to cut into this, but look how good this looks. So let me grab a piece out of here. Let's get this piece right here. And see, it pops out nice and easy out of the pan because we use that parchment paper. So that is what my brownie looks like, rich and chocolatey. Let's give it a taste. Perfect. So chocolatey. So good. That is really, really rich. But don't take my word for it. Go ahead and make these brownies for yourself. Thank you guys for spending time with me in my vegan kitchen. Don't forget to subscribe. Tap on that bell so you get all the reminders whenever I come out with new recipes. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy this sweet treat. Perfect.